Hi, Wildlands. It's Cole Adams. I'm micro creator in the arts and crafts space, and today I'm going to work on creating a folio or a envelope out of an old Amazon envelope. I'm also going to use my scrap bin to try to get through some of it because it's very full over the next year, so that I can use this to hold all the receipts for my business. So I want to make, so these are the long skinny ones, very thin, and I want to make like three pockets, one, two, three pockets. So I'm gonna actually, and I only need about this size. I like to be able to fit it in my purse really easily or in my go bag. But it's to help keep me organized for tax season. And I'm using my one for this year still to compile my taxes for this year. So here I am. So I'm just gonna cut this in half, or not in half, but I kind of measured it so I'd have a front pocket and then a back pocket. So I gave the back one maybe an inch of room. That's just a circle, and this piece, that's a pocket. And I'm gonna probably do my top edges first, and then address the bottom. I used some packing tape to seal the sides and the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna pull out my scrap bin. I find it easier to just pour it out and move the box aside. So I have my pile of scraps. I have some bigger scraps to the left, and I'm going to start with addressing the edges of the piece, the edges that I'm going to put my hand in to get in and out of the pocket. I find it's really nice to just bend a piece of paper over the top. This is book paper. This is that German book paper from my bag that I keep a book in, and it's got some off-cut ink from other projects. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, put some tape on it, and get it in there. I know I'm gonna cover this whole project in packing tape, so securing down the edges isn't as important as just working quickly. I also am gonna use a little piece of scrap to put a place to write a label. This one has some little stars on it. Now I'm going to move down and do that front lip. So for each part of the envelope, I have to cover each edge. So that'll be 4 edges in total. I kind of fast forward through part of this. This is the very back of the envelope, so I'm auditioning some papers to find what will work. I find bigger pieces are a little easier than scrappy pieces on these edges, so I kind of keep going back and back and back to that book paper. I also want each edge to kind of stand on its own and be a little different than the edges around it, so that I just always know which envelope I'm reaching into. Because I use this for my taxes information, sometimes I'll put kind of a accounts receivable, like checks that come in or different payments that come in and receipts. And then I put the supplies in one envelope. And then the final envelope is kind of like for things like a win at a show or something that's a little unusual, and I need to address it separately. That's another tag to write on. Man, I love this little piece of paper. I stamped that. It's a piece of like the inside of a lantern paper. And then this is the edges. I always tear the edges of most of my collage. So I have a lot of these like edge pieces of deli print or jelly print paper on deli paper. And what I love about deli paper is it becomes translucent as you glue it down. So I switched to glue because my mono tape was ripping that book paper. I think that book paper is just old enough that it kind of comes into parts. Here I'm putting on another label. Hard to see with my arm, sorry about that. Pretty much at this point, I'm just trying to cover all of the original, those lovely prime logos so that the piece just doesn't resemble what it used to be. And I'm thinking about lights and darks and value changes right now. So in any collage, I'm always thinking about putting large pieces of dark and light and medium color. And because I'm trying to use all those teeny tiny scraps, I definitely am getting into the weedly scraps. So this piece is kind of fun because there's a lot of size variation too. I think this is actually a piece of cotton fabric that I cut off a project. So it's got a little bit of everything in it, which is fun. And this is me auditioning a piece that's a kind of door shape or window shape. I'm not sure, actually, I know that doesn't go into the final piece, but a lot of the times when I'm looking through a scrap bin, I might find something. That's my puppy. I might find something I haven't seen in a while and audition it to see if it works for this project, but I felt like that was just a little too bright and a little too much for the rest of the collage to hold up. So I don't like this little edge. I'm going to tear that down. I don't mind if I see little peaks of white. I just really don't want to see pieces of the logo because I think our brains fill that in so easily. It's another auditioning piece. That's a piece of a photocopy of some paint swatches. And I'm going back to the teeny tiny scraps, filling in that one last little space. And it's starting to look really good. Now everything's covered. Now it's just time to go in and embellish more. These pieces are just fun color. I felt like it was getting all to be that blue and kind of brown color way, so I wanted to add a little bit more pop. And I love these pieces. This is from an old calendar. I will go in and add some pieces of art that aren't mine because this is definitely a piece I'm keeping. But when I'm doing scrap collage for sale, I usually kind of stay away from anything that's from another source. But since this is for me, I'm going to put in some little things that might inspire me and get me moving. So back to that little scrap bin. There's lots of little tiny offcuts. Oh, branching out. So this is mainly for me as kind of a tiny little vision board on where I'm collecting my treasures from my business. And I just want to remind myself that branching out into both teaching here on YouTube and online and teaching in person is where I'm headed, and I'm enjoying it so much. Now let's go to the tape. So to cover this bad boy in tape, I start at those edges again, and I'm going to fold the tape over. So I have to go in and trim the edges, and then very carefully pull it apart and fold that piece in. I don't know if I got a great video of this, but it really is just adding tape and then very, very carefully folding it in. You can see me trying to be brave and put that tape in. I kind of don't mind if there's a wrinkle or two, but and I don't do the insides of any of the envelopes, but I really want to make sure those edges are firmly down. So it's kind of not a science, but more of a figure it out as you go along. And I'll just sit there and trim it. I might clip the edges if there's a slight bend. See how that's kind of curved, so that each of those pieces can go down separately and give me a little bit better ability to not have it crease. Because this is still a circle, I can put my hand in the bottom of this envelope and really open it up. That's why I don't glue it at all. I don't put it together at all until I get this part of the piece done. Because it's a lot easier to fiddle inside of those envelopes when they are not taped down. But now here we go. I think we're taping it together. So aligning the bottom and then just folding over and really making sure it aligns. I don't mind seeing the blue there at the bottom because it's not a logo. So for me, as long as I can't read it, I'm fine with seeing a little bit of that color. So get the bottom edge, I'm going to clip at the very end and then flip the edge pieces over, doing the same thing on the edge. Where I have a little extra, I'm just making it, I'd rather have those bottom corners have quite a few layers of tape rather than not enough. So I just keep folding the tape over and taping it down. I don't mind if there's 4 or 5 layers of tape at the bottom there. It's kind of like wrapping a package very, very, very slowly. Just double checking it's working. And now I'm going to add this typewriter in here just so that I have a little bit more. This is the back. I don't even think I videoed this really. I just wanted to add a little bit more inspiration back there. Thinking about starting a blog as part of my work, and I want to kind of include some writing in my days. So keeping a reminder, a visual reminder on this envelope that lives right next to my kind of workstation all the time is important. And there it is. Ah, I really love it. I think it's going to be super, super useful. And I hope you can kind of tell I really easily get in and out. Those reinforced edges are essential. I also had so much more scrap. I covered a little pocket, a little envelope I had with scrap as well. And this is my scrap and what's left. So it's about half full, and that was bursting at the seams when we started this. It's the next morning. I'm getting ready to go for a swim, as always. I do wild swimming, cold water. So here's the final pocket. I realized I never said what this is. It says, "Trust your heart, jam tart." That's from a button woman in London, and I just love it. I love the piece. I think it's going to be a really nice way to organize my paperwork and taxes. How do you do that? Do you ever work with scraps, with your scrap bin? And how do you make your studio less wasteful? I hope that you enjoyed this content, and if you do, please like and subscribe and comment, and let me know what you'd like to see. Someone asked for a scrap video, and here it is. I hope that you have an incredible day creating, and take care, wild ones. I'll see you next time.